won't make you dance, except for tonight, which is exciting. We're probably going to, just for the interest of time, keep it to about 30 minutes. So quickly editing to allow our friends at the other table to have 30 minutes as well. Because everything's been a bit compressed with different sessions, the idea is this. We're going to do a quick intro around the world of digital and what's possible, but what we're going to focus on is what you can physically do in the room today. So definitely hands-on, low cost. You could walk out of today literally having done some of that stuff. So that's kind of cool. And then we're going to hand over to our wonderful friends who are going to show you some cool things that you can put on. Rob and I will run you through. He's pretty tech, so he'll help you to get things through. But before we start, I guess the one thing which is important to note is just the rapid speed of change. And so the thing about digital engagement is you will know from outside there are so many providers, and the providers are coming on stream all the time. And we do know that we have a number of providers about to enter the country as well, which will change the way in which digital engagement is done. A lot of people perhaps come to it with a sense of fear. Fear around a whole lot of things. Privacy, access, can you have real conversations or not real conversations? And what we say today will be entirely different from next week. So I do know there are some of you in the audience who are actually in development mode at the moment, and that's really exciting. At home in our office, our very clever, creative people are building a game. It'll have 3 world firsts in the game, and it will move people in and out of real world and then into a virtual world and back into the real world to make massive decisions. So that is amazing. What it looks like, we've no idea because it's in prototyping, but we don't know. We really don't. It looks pretty, and hopefully it's working. But the other thing is, I guess, just to talk about the scale of digital engagement. So at the moment, the numbers are huge. I think we can certainly achieve really large numbers. Our approach has always been to integrate digital and real world engagement. So we call it offline and online, and that blended together you can achieve some really amazing things. Do we have some Brisbane City Council friends in the audience? Okay, Brisbane City Council currently has the largest number of contributions to an engagement, 114,000 plus contributions. So that's just the actual contributions people have made. So that is a massive scale. The number reached is at 270 plus, and that's a very conservative number. So just framing it in that way, it's really varied. You know, engagement can be massive in digital and online engagement. So with that as an entree, we're going to hand over to Rob to help us go. Many of you probably don't know Rob. He's quite a humble and shy person, except on the dance floor.
She's lying.
But he will be carving it up. So Rob spends a lot of his time doing what we would best call the really hard stuff. So climate change adaptation, waste, legislative reviews. But at some point he makes it fun, it's digital. And so we're going to hand over to Rob for a bit.
All right, welcome everyone. Now, just before we start, I am going to ask you to download a couple of apps. So I might just jump ahead a few screens. So I'm assuming everybody's got Wi-Fi on their phones, which from memory is CONF 2018. Correct me if I'm wrong. Conf 18.
2018.
Must be Conf 2018.
Conf 2018, I'm hearing here.
And it's
Capitals.
And is it just
So if you can just get Wi-Fi, and
just the
this is going to take a while with this many people in the room.
which network?
intercontinental.
Intercontinental Conference.
I thought you were asking me not to. Sorry.
Intercontinental Conference, or is it Intercontinental? I didn't yesterday. So. apps I want you to download, because they might take a minute while we're chatting. There's two, Padlet, P-A-D-L-E-T, Padlet.
What?
And the other one, I'm a bit lost without the whiteboard. And the other one is Zappar, Z-Z-A-P-P-A-R, Zappar. So if you can just kind of get that under control while we're talking, that would be fantastic.
And we'll come around and help you. The first one, the people name is that one, is that correct?
Padlet, P-A-D-L-E-T. And the other one's Zappar, Z-A-P-P-A-R.
And don't ever, you don't need to give all your details.
No login.
There's a guest sign in on all of these.
Yeah, no login.
It's quite easy.
No. Don't need to log in. So if you can kind of get that under control.
Oh. The Wi-Fi code is capital CONF, conf 2018.
Should say continuous guest.
Continuous guest, yeah.
You hit the
Yeah,
conference
that's
on
it.
the guest.
But we'll get to that. Once you've downloaded it, that's all you need to get to, and then we'll step you through bit by bit. Because that's the fun bit. Don't spoil the fun yet. Okay.
I'm just concerned this many people will take a while to kind of, with the system. All right, so what we're trying to do today is make engagement sticky. That's what our aim is. So we're trying, as Amanda said, we would never just do online. We would always combine it with face-to-face, but we're trying to make it sticky. A bit of augmented reality. So it's a mix of live and artificial. Often you'll see it's a mapping tool. There are quite sophisticated mapping tools that you can use. There's a lot of proprietary ones, but there's also a really simple, basic one that you can use. Good example of augmented reality. I'm possibly a little bit out of the age group, but Pokemon. You might know Pokemon Go. That's a really good example.
So for those people who haven't done augmented reality, the girls are going to show you one of their projects shortly. Augmented reality is essentially just an image or a video or words augmented over the real world. So those ones in the previous slide were done, so the one on the left-hand side, we're going to practice something like that, but that was done at Geelong Council, if any of our Geelong friends are here. So that's physically done in their offices, and it was done by people well into their 50s and 60s. It's not a difficult thing. And the top one is a stitched-in photo of reality. So they're reality photos, and over the top is overlaid the artist's impression of what something could be. It's a 360-degree panorama, which we'll show you shortly.
This is something we did a few years ago, and it's quite commonplace now. Property developers use it all the time. So it was simply you do a QR code, it was printed on a piece of foam core, and the building would pop up. But it's quite every day now, and that's probably, 5 years ago now.
Yeah. So this is probably the easiest type of augmented reality you can use. This is very, very low cost. So it's something, if you've got a built form and you have your design, your architects creating buildings, you get a 3DS file, and that forms the basis of this piece of augmented reality. And all it is that it's the coolest thing in the world. You look through your camera and in your hand, it looks like a building has popped up on top of it. But you can spin it around, you can see through the windows, you can actually look exactly what it would be like if it was a miniature building. I was about to show you a reference to a very old movie where they talk about the models. But actually you're holding it in your hands. And some clever people put building by building by building, and you actually build a streetscape. It's very cool. We think it's very old, but it's not done as commonly as it could be. It would be one of the cheapest entrees into augmented reality that you can do.
Okay, so if you go to Zapper, has everybody got Zapper? Download it? You still thinking? Yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm just trying to save your data, that's all. Absolutely. No, you don't need to use the Wi-Fi. This is what we prepared earlier. I found it better if the code's embedded, if you look at the bottom of the screen. Oh, wait.
You got it.
I've got it. You should get a little message that says scan. Is that working?
Do I need to get closer?
You're so far away.
Let's give it a go.
Watch this for 1 second. I was going to say.
Come up and get closer if you want. That's right.
Recognize
So this bottom section is
I have to get really close.
This is hands-on. It's supposed to be fun. Don't sit in your chair. It's all good. Why is it so good? So I'll tell you how this sort of thing is used. Ignore the actual content.
working. Go on here.
Oh, that's so cute. So, the trick to doing this is, what you're actually doing now looks pretty awesome. So, there's nothing there's no cost in this, right? This is just filming a video, putting it on a code, and I want you to think about the possibilities. Picture, and this is a real story, I want you to picture a black poster or a black pull-up banner as you walk into a room. And then I want you to imagine that you say to people, things are bleak today, what could they look like tomorrow? If you just had those words on a black banner with a code, then what you could have, as people scan through, is the video and story of someone's life that's gotten better, having done whatever you're engaging on. So you can bring people's stories to life. Okay, so the Zapper code. So I want you to think about this. You've got a Zapper code, it can be anything. It can be a video. In your work,
That's right.
whose story would you want to tell in a video? So this is easy. All you're doing is you're taking a video, you upload it into the Zapper system, and then you print the code on a screen, or a brochure, or a box, or anything, on a tattoo. I'm desperate to have a client make it into a tattoo on their body and have people scan them. They just download
someone get it?
Zapper. But if you're going into an engagement event, you can have iPads,
So a video pops up.
phones, preloaded, you can give them out. Most people will download it. So in places where we've worked a lot in innovation, you will come into a room and you can zap anything, and you can have people tell their stories in a really easy, cool kind of way. Zapper is it's probably the easiest thing thing you can do. We're trying to focus on easy, no-cost stuff that you can get people going, oh, this is kind of interesting. I mean, it doesn't have to be a video of any of us, but it could be a video of one of your stakeholders or community members. Or, as we have done, we've had a mayor. And the mayor, as people walked in, they could zap him and he could urge them to do the amazing work that they needed them to do. Yeah. It brought him to life. You know, then they thought he was cool. At least for the morning. In other types of augmented reality, you can create visions of the future. So, because we knew we're short on time, but there are other systems, again, that are absolutely free of use, where you would, and WALLAME is another one, WALLAME, WALLAME. We won't get you to do it here because it doesn't work in this room, we can't get a GPS signal. But WALLAME is pretty cool. Rob and I have done it quite a lot. And what you can do is you can plant pictures of the future in the virtual world. So, except that it literally cannot work inside this building because I need a GPS signal. You can look through your phone, and as we've done in the past, you can have flying dinosaurs or spaceships from the future, or you can upload images of real buildings that would be in situ in a place. And that's kind of the cool thing. So you can see the future as it would be. This is zero cost for you to do. You do not have to spend money. You don't have to have a designer or any of that. So it's a very simple thing. The other things we've used it for, is graffiti. So just as we could hide things for you to have a look at, the other thing you can do is you hand it over to your communities, and your communities put graffitis or upload photos in places. And that's pretty amazing. And so then you, as the community engagement specialist, can walk into a space and look for the words hidden by community members. That's really cool. Isn't that bad? And that again is zero cost, a lot of fun, and very, very sticky. Now the key question is, does anyone need to go to the bathroom? Because you will want to in about 5 seconds. Rob's telling me to explain something, of course, now I just want to go to the bathroom. This is a 360-degree immersive panorama. This is just a lovely scene. It's pretty, but actually it could be anything. You could film this yourself, then buy things. We've created co-working spaces for fun, and then get people to walk in the co-working space to see what it's like and to add information to it. So they can make comments, do surveys, they can download videos, they can experience what it's like. Every single button, it's a bit of a mystery what the buttons are. Every single button that you upload is an interactive feature. And so the idea here, get rid of that. This is just something on a timer, but it has information in it. And what we found is that instead of a boring website, you could plot anything you like in a 360-degree panorama. It's kind of cool. It's a 360-degree panorama, and it's lots of fun. This one is just working off a website. This is instead of having a website. Because we're getting if we're talking about being sticky, websites are all the same. You know, they're all kind of dull. I love them, but our communities get a bit boring. So this is really need to grab people's attention. This is essentially called a 360-degree panorama, at which you can upload anything you like.
What do you use to do it though? Is that Zapper?
No, actually, this one here, we have about 20 different software platforms, and I do not recall which one this is, but I can find out and share that with you. I just don't remember which platform this is built in.
ThinkLink.
Is it ThinkLink? Thank you, great. So this is ThinkLink. Oh no, you can just, anyone can use ThinkLink. You have to pay for it and design it. Absolutely. Yeah. So the other ones are free, and we're not selling, this is not to sell, we're basically giving you all our IP today to say go for it. Yeah. Yeah, but you might have an expert. Yeah. So I think, so this one's ThinkLink, the other one's Zapper, the other one is Wallaby, and we're about to show you Padlet.
Okay, so wikis, I won't look at this one, but this is there anybody from the City of Melbourne here? Yeah, I love this one, this is fantastic. So all the trees were tagged in the City of Melbourne, and you could send a little email to a tree. Each one had its own. Sorry, we're just struggling with technology. Which is kind of weird. So each tree was named what sort of tree it was, life expectancy, had a life expectancy, and it had a little email this tree, so you could send the tree a poem. Gorgeous. But the lovely thing about it was that if there was a tree in ill health, you could kind of email it through and go, you know, half the tree's dying, so a broken branch. The community could do it, so it's kind of crowdsourcing and using the community. The other one that I really love is of a similar kind of thing, of another crowdsourced wiki. We all know Wikipedia. We'll think about this of using a wiki for engagement. So this was platypus sighting, so people could just say where they saw platypuses, platypusi. So people could upload a picture if they wanted, and then just make a little note. You know, fantastic. You don't have the staff to go out and kind of keep an eye on them all the time, but people can upload it. Lovely.
And we do know that in New South Wales, there are a number of state government agencies that are building platforms whereby you can upload photos of endangered species. We know it happens in Victoria as well. And so they can be purpose-built. But Rob's got another alternative for you if you have zero cash.
I'm just conscious of the time. So one thing you can do is use Google Maps, and you can build it really easily. I did this in about 5 minutes this morning. So I was tempted to put Marion's room on the map, but I thought that might be a bit. So I've just put the after conference party in somebody's room. So once again, name the map, it's where it is, and if you want to add something into the map, you can just simply add it in like that.
So the cool thing about this is it's not proprietary. And so therefore, whatever you put in, people can see if you make this map public. It's not just used for mapping physical things, but we've got some organisations have used it to map expertise across a state or region, or map their own experiences, and then they colour code it. And that is if they don't have a sophisticated system and they need to do it really speedily, they can do that. So if it's public, everyone can add to the Google map and everyone can see it. So in the innovation space, where people don't care about hidden information so much, they just put it all out there. In places where they do care about what information is available publicly, then they lock it down and do an invitation-only system to it. So this is a very simple one. It's not pretty, but it's quite useful. So you can add information. As Rob said, you've coloured some of these, so you can denote a different colour for a different purpose. And then you can search and find things quite easily. So it's quite an easy, low-cost, simple thing to do. A wiki being everyone can create the content themselves.
Okay. Let's move on super quickly. No, just make your own. Padlet. Okay. So you need to have downloaded Padlet. Download the app. You can either log in. I'd suggest you continue as a guest just to speed things up. And then you need to scan this QR code. Once again, you might need to come up to do that.
I know this is huge.
Is it working?
Massive.
Oh yeah?
Just yell if somebody's...
Yeah, it
It's
worked.
not fun when you all rush to the stage though.
Okay, we all good? Going once? Going twice? Happy? Alright. So, once you've got Padlet, you need to continue as a guest. You scan the QR code. Oh, which won't work for me, anyway. Now, there's a little pink plus button on the bottom right-hand corner. You need to click on that and just put your name in there. Just put your first name in there. Then you'll see three little dots. It'll say, what do you want to upload? And there'll be three little dots. Click on those dots and the options on the screen should come up. One of them should be film. We'll have to go back. There's not much of a skin.
Sorry, we didn't scan.
Oh, thank you.
So people find the pink dot. There you go. So, Rob will tell you what to film. And we're basically going to create the story of engagement in this room in about 5 minutes.
So, flip the camera around so you're filming yourself.
Yeah.
And I just want you to upload. Really do a quick recording, really simply, your name, where you're from, what your job is, and what's your biggest challenge in engagement today. Super quickly, rough and ready.
You can delete it afterwards if you hate it. We're actually building. We're going to build essentially this cool wiki of what is the challenge that we face. And you can tag it as well later. You can put a comment in and tag it.
Creating enthusiasm from
Beautiful, love it. Some people use pictures they haven't recorded. That's cool.
One of the things that really helps is if you add a comment to your own thing, then you can basically tell us, without anyone listening to the video, what the key element of your challenge is. And so that's something you can scroll through really quickly.
So hit stop the record button, hit use video. It'll take a couple of seconds to process, then just hit post.
I like how we've got twinsies as well.
There is an option for that, yeah. We're not doing it here.
So the question was, is it moderated? No, it's not moderated. The thing about a wiki is it is hard.
And my biggest challenge with engagement is money.
So, because I'm the presenter, I'm going to indulge you, and here's one I prepared earlier.
Hello, my name's Maddy. I'm a dog and I'm really interested in dog parks.
So the question was, from the back, was, is it moderated? No, it's not, it's wiki. And so, and actually, some people would go, how crazy that you could have the community create any content they want. But we do know that some ministers, and this is only in certain portfolios, actually want to do that. They actually want to put it out to the space where it is true what is called civic innovation, which is where it's not controlled by an organisation. And so this is the next wave of engagement. It's coming super fast. Next week, the guidance note on civic innovation will be released. And that will really change the way in which we think about digital engagement, where we're not necessarily in control, and it is truly about enabling people to make their own decisions and to come together as a group to make change. And that's what we're about to head into in terms of engagement.
Everybody out in the community has buildings out, and so we can all have.
It's got varying degrees of privacy, so you can actually just email people. They have to log in. I've just made a very basic one, so we can all do something today and see it. But you can also rate. So you can say, yeah, I really like that one. I'm going to rate it. So somebody might have a suggestion for a particular location if you're doing planning, for example, or climate change. You know, they might go, this really needs to be protected in the event of sea level rise. So we really want this park or this statue or, you know, something to be protected. So you would go and take a recording of it and then people can jump in and rate it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so some people have uploaded just their pictures, but I wanted to do video today. Amanda said you can't kind of moderate it, you can. So for example, you can jump in and delete stuff.
Oh, you got things on live. Yes, in live.
Yeah, it's live,
Yes,
but
live
you
is
could.
determined question.
Yeah. Question up, okay? That's right. Yeah. Yeah, there is a...
It means that your organisation is monitoring it consistently to make sure what's being put out
That's right.
is appropriate.
That's right. You probably wouldn't have it live for 6 months. You'd have it, you know, short, sharp and shiny. But there are profanity filters and stuff. I'm just giving you the really super quick, because I'm conscious that we're out of time. Was there another question?
Actually, you know, rather than being keyboard warriors behind text, I think having that visual would kind of, I don't know, give people a little bit more ownership to the comments that they're making and
But let's
consideration.
Like angry and be trolls. Profanity, yeah, it does. Yeah, I just haven't showed you that because in the interest of time, but it does have an effect. One last one. Done. Do you want to say anything?
We could go on forever, but our friends here,
Great fun.
we would be rude to take away from their time.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks so much for having us here. As was mentioned, my name is Maddy Carville. I'm in the Communications and Stakeholder Engagement team at Aurecon from Western Australia, so super stoked to be on the Gold Coast. It's a long way to travel for me. If there's any West Australians in the room, hello? Yeah, or I'm a Fremantle Dockers fan, that's okay.
And I'm Milinkovic. I'm based in the Sydney team.
So Nina and I connect over the Nullarbor basically on Aurecon's digital experience. We are really passionate about pushing the practice forward in the digital area using digital tools that I guess are a little bit unexpected, but also really passionate about the experience that comes with engaging digitally. But one of our philosophies and that we're truly passionate about, and obviously we share with Rob and Amanda, is that digital will never seek to replace face-to-face and more traditional forms. It's there to complement, and that's something that we always look to do. So today we've got, just setting a bit of an agenda, we've got some fun tools from projects that we have delivered in New South Wales. We wanted to share with you what we have done at Aurecon in this space on real life projects. And so it's a bit of a present and play. It's pretty casual and we want you to get into our tools and we're going to present them to you and share our lessons learned from those experiences.
Yep, and we just want you to have some fun and show you what we want to create for our communities to kind of bring them on journeys through our projects.
So I've popped this quote up, the only source of knowledge is experience, and I truly agree with Albert Einstein here, and something that Nina and I champion in our work. I think experience in digital is really something that is next gen, I suppose, for communities. Being able to show the future state of a major complex infrastructure project is really valuable, and it also brings people along on a journey with you. And I think envisioning the future end state of a project will mean we're going to mitigate risk on most projects, find those pain points early, and I guess overall help communicate better outcomes on projects.
And create an understanding no matter what kind of phase of the project you're in. Like obviously it's it can be more influential in very early concept design, but at any stage there's a place for it, even at construction when it's all already happening. Just going that extra mile to create more understanding and experience for people who go a long way in risk mitigation and relationship building with your communities and stakeholders.
So Nina and I have butted our heads together pretty spectacularly and come up with this diagram. This is sort of our thoughts on where we're at, and we are emerging practitioners, we're young people, and we can sort of see this direction coming in these two spheres. So we really truly feel like there's a really big disengaged community at the moment, or that's where we're heading. Young people, there's information overload, there's so much going on. We're competing in the same space as the consumer sector, marketing, advertising, and of course the online world that we're all trying to navigate. There is distrust. I mean, in our current federal government, that's really difficult to navigate for ourselves as well. And then over on this side of our sphere, we find that we actually have some communities that are more engaged than ever. They're very passionate, they're very driven, they're highly active and highly involved, they demand transparency, and they expect more from decision makers and organisations than ever before. So, what's the sweet spot and how do we communicate with both? And Nina and I truly agree that it's through this digital experience that we're talking about today. And the reason I've put these other communications tools around, because again, to emphasise that point that we're never talking about digital by itself. Digital is another communications tool that needs to be complemented and tailored to audiences, and it needs to be fit for purpose.
And it doesn't have to be overcomplicated either. It just needs to be adapted according to your audience's needs, and it just comes down to simply knowing your audience and what will work for them.
And that's a really great segue into the tools we have today. So we're presenting two projects from New South Wales, the Wynyard Station app and also Batemans Bay Bridge Replacement Project, which is a bit of a mouthful. But these tools that we are presenting today are very accessible and they are user-friendly, and I think there's probably an opinion out there that digital is often out of reach for a lot of organisations. It's not. So we wanted to make sure the tools we presented to you today are really accessible and really achievable for what you guys and we all do.
Yeah, and then we're going to show you a game as well. So we're going to separate into two groups. You get to have some fun, play with those two tools. We'll walk you through them. And then we're going to come back and we're going to show you one more really fun thing that we've created, which is more like gamification. And a lot of people, shy away from that or get scared by it. But yeah, it's really fun to kind of convey simple messages and create a really cool experience. So, okay, yeah. So I hope everyone got to at least have a go or see how these tools work and like experience the fun, because that's what it's all about. And we're around as well if you want to come ask us later or anything like that, you can have a go. So the last thing we want to show you really quick is something really fun that we did recently. So this is an example of gamification. So we had, we built a game to, essentially the crux of it was to create, to convey like the safety messaging for roads and maritime services, like as part of their safety plan. And so I guess, yeah, our kind of process was thinking, asking questions like, how can we do this differently? How can we have fun? And I think that's what we need to do as practitioners, asking those questions, what's going to suit the audience, what's going to appeal. So anyway, we came up with this game, and essentially you get to play a game, which is fun, but the safety messages are coming through. So the idea is it's quite simple, you just have to kind of navigate through the waters. And then without crashing. If you crash, I think 3 times you start again. But
so this was showcased at the Sydney Boat Show.
Yeah, at the International Boat Show. At Roads and Maritime had a stand, and they wanted to. Safety is obviously a big issue, but how do you get people to engage with it? Traditionally, I guess it's just through pamphlet, or people don't really want to engage with that. So having a game is just like such a fun way to kind of have something that sticks. I guess it's an experience they're going to remember because it's fun and it's different, and it appeals to all ages. Like even who doesn't want to just play a game for a bit? It's not something that just appeals to kids.
For those of you in the room that didn't know what gamification was before, this is really gamification, and I think where it's most valuable is when you're trying to change behaviour or instill change or educate. So if you think about your programs and your opportunities, this is sort of the gamification element of where this is going. But I want to make a really good point while I play this game. I suppose this is really rude. I was recently in Western Australia, the RMS equivalent, Main Roads Western Australia, speaking to an executive director, and he said, Maddy, gamification, I get it, I like it, but it implies that you're playing games and you're not serious. So I want to just sort of put that out there and challenge you that perhaps that when you are talking about gamification, that it's much more about engaging through an experience, and make sure that your decision makers in your organisation
don't get scared.
Yeah, and they are taking you seriously. So that's just a thought piece that I want to leave you in my experience, and I'm probably brushing up.
Yeah.
Oh, with that.
Yeah, so that's it. That's the game. If you want to have a go afterwards, you're more than welcome. We'll be here. But we'll just wrap it up very quickly now. We hope we took you on an
Yeah.
But see, it teaches you where you went wrong. So it's education.
We hope you've enjoyed today. It's been a rapid 30 minutes. Happy to take questions, but also mindful of time. But we're here for the next couple of days. These are with us the whole time, so if you want to come and have a play, let us know. But we're from Aurecon, we love what we do. We're young practitioners in this space, and we really want to challenge you to think about where we're taking this space, because we can be doing a lot more.
Yeah, and I think we, as practitioners, we all have a responsibility to do that, to ask questions and just see what we can do differently and, make it fun.
So I hope we shook it up for you.